For the first all-Mercedes front row in Formula One since Juan Manuel Fangio, Sterling Moss, and Carl Kling went 1-2-3 at Monza in 1955. First pole for Rosberg in his 111th start.
The 2012 Sauber's good form continues. Kamui Kobayashi starting third, the best for Sauber since Belgium 2009. Alongside him, the Lotus and Kimi Raikkonen, fastest of all in Sector 1. But he apparently is still not happy, but it still seems pretty good to me for a guy who's been away for 2 years.
On row 3, Jenson Button in the first of the McLarens. Outside the top 4 on the grid for the first time in 10 starts. Next to him, Mark Webber in the Red Bull has his worst start of the year, but still well ahead of his world champion teammate for the third straight race.
With his 5-spot penalty, second fastest qualifier, the McLaren of Lewis Hamilton starts 7th. He's never won from lower than 4th grid spot. Next to him, the sensation Malaysia, Mexican Sergio Perez in its Sauber.
On row 5, Fernando Alonso, the winner in Malaysia 3 weeks ago for Ferrari. Next to him, Romain Grosjean, who had that late brake adjustment on the grid for his Lotus.
The double world champion and the pole sitter here for the last 3 years lines up 11, out-qualified for the third time this year by his teammate Webber, and alongside him the second Ferrari of Felipe Massa, equaling his start in Malaysia.
From that point on, they come Noah's Ark style, 2x2, team by team. The 2 Williams cars on row 7.
And then the row 8, the 2 Force Indies of Paul di Resta and Nico Hulkenberg.
On row 9, we would have had both Toro Rossos. Ricardo is there, but Jean-Eric Vergne will start from the pit lane after changes to the car post-qualifying.
Row 10, Heikki Kovalainen and Vitaly Petrov in the caterhams.
On row 11, the 2 Marussia cars of Timo Glock, who had a crash in practice Friday, and Charles Pic.
Pedro de la Rosa and Narain Karthikeyan bring up the rear.
And now it's time for our Pirelli storylines. We'll take off our journalistic hats and admit we have an office pool, about 50 people, try to pick a winner. For the first time ever, our highest total of different winners, 8 potential winners, and none of those names include 2-time defending world champ Sebastian Vettel. So who's going to win this race, Steve?
Well, for me, it is don't put the Kobash on Kamui. I think that Sauber car this year has got a lot of genuine pace. We saw that last race in the hands of Perez. Let's see whether or not Kamui can do the same sort of thing.
David?
Well, as he says, Kimi Raikkonen, his favourite expression is, I think it's the same for everyone. I think it's the same. I think he might well win this race too. He qualified extremely well, but he is not, as Vettel called Karthikeyan the other day, an Averman Kurku, which is finished for Gherkin.
Well, I'm going to go with Lewis Hamilton despite that 5 grid spot penalty. So, McLaren, known to be fast in qualifying, but they lose pace in the race. They're going to need a tremendous start. Germany expects Norbert Haug, responsible for the Mercedes Motorsports program on the right. Ross Brawn, we know his track record in Formula One. He is the Silver Fox. And the field comes set.
Boy, tension's very high. Adrian Newey there having a troubled year for him.
He has never been more challenged in Formula One in recent years. Final cars pulling into place.
Pole sitter's been on the grid now for a long time. Tensions rising, nerves going, heartbeat right up there.
Kamui Kobayashi angled oddly in his pit stall, in his grid position. He's obviously got a plan. Here come the lights. When they go out, the race is underway. Turn up the volume for the 9th Grand Prix of China. Good getaway across the front row. Kimi Raikkonen right there on Michael Schumacher's gearbox. He'll slip into third, it appears. Here comes Button.
Button went round the outside of Kamui Kobayashi. Hamilton's trying to go around the inside as they go through that tight turn 2. Kimi Raikkonen in front of him as they go into turn 3.
Good getaway for Rosberg. Schumacher safe in second. And then the McLaren and the Lotus battle. There's Mark Webber in the blue Red Bull.
It was a very good start for Nico Rosberg. Michael Schumacher almost seemed to drop pace slightly to protect Nico Rosberg. I have the impression this is very much this part of the Grand Prix a team effort by Mercedes.
Mark Webber losing position.
Side by side there.
Yes,
it
is.
Ooh. Steady, lads.
Boy, Perez was shot from a gun at the start. Up there battling his teammate who started third. Oh, Webber being forceful as ever, going underneath Alonso's Ferrari.
Yeah, made it work as well.
But Perez, of course, has already got around Webber, so now he's got to work his way past him again.
Hamilton, the 2 Saubers, Webber, Alonso. Massa got a good start. He's right behind his teammate.
But it is Rosberg so far fastest in the sector 2, the middle sector, 31.4. 3/10 faster than his teammate Jenson Button.
But Jenson Button already up to third behind the two Mercedes, having made a great start from the third row.
I'll be very interested
right behind him.
when we get to see another shot of the start, to have a look how the Mercedes worked that start of the Grand Prix. It looked like terribly good teamwork to me to protect that position, to keep McLaren at bay from Nico Rosberg.
Warmer than it was by about 10 degrees in Friday practice. About 72 degrees ambient temperature. The track about 76 degrees.
Now remember that the Mercedes advantage of that double DRS system, the blown front wing, will now fall away because you can only use the DRS once per lap, and you can't use it at all for the first 2 laps. So this will be the point of the race where McLaren, if anything, will be really trying to push the issue and get past the Mercedes cars, but it's not working. It looks like a little bit of debris flying through the air there.
Sebastian Vettel got a poor start too. There he is.
He's down to 14th spot now, being harried by Maldonado.
And he started on the softer tire. I'm kind of surprised by that. I would have thought he would have started on the harder tire, tried to go deeper into the race before making the change to the soft.
There's a little bit